What a lovely fall day. I think I'll take the Jag. Well, time to go to my place of business and do businessy things. Let's not delay. What the devil? Oh shit.
So as that recreation brilliantly illustrated with wonderful acting, if I do say so, on Tuesday morning my car didn't start on my way to work. So at first I thought it was the battery. I threw the battery charger on it, waited till the next day. I took the Land Rover to work. Next day, tried to start the car, and again, it wouldn't start. So my theory is right now that it's the starter motor, and I think it's more specifically the solenoid on the starter. Because every once in a while the car will actually start if I try again. But it doesn't even attempt to start. And sometimes it'll be halfway through the starting cycle and it will cut out halfway. So your guess is as good as mine. But right now the car is undrivable. It's in the garage and I'm going to try and replace the starter motor and place your bets as to whether it works. Okay, so a brief history on the solenoid. Basically what the solenoid is it's like a relay that allows the small amount of electricity from the starter button to connect a larger amount of electricity or a larger amperage directly from the battery to the starter, because starter motors use a lot of amps. So that's what a relay. It's basically a giant relay, and usually about 60% of the time when your starter fails, it's that fails. Interesting top tip: if you can see your starter motor and you can bang the starter motor with a hammer, that's actually one way that you can test the solenoid, because you'll usually free it. But in the case of this car, it's so far underneath the car that I can't see it from above, and so it wouldn't be a technique that I could use. So let's jack up the car. Underneath the car, we just have to locate the starter, which I think I saw was around here somewhere. Here's your transmission, and there's a starter. Hopefully you could see that. And this thing, that's the solenoid that I was talking about. Probably that's what's going wrong, but at any event, the whole thing has to be removed. And I'm hoping I don't have to remove or move this engine mount. Okay, so bad news. This is not going to be as easy as I thought. I cannot get to the car bulb, which means, let's bring the light back. Okay, which means I have to remove this engine mount and go in from this side with a long sort of extender and get it from there. I have to go in from here and get the bolt that you can see over there. So
one of the frustrating things about this car is that it seems like all roads always seem to lead to removing the engine mount, which was the case with the alternator, and now it seems to be the case with the starter motor. So this is not going to be a 2-hour job, but hang in there, we'll do it. So just to further illustrate on the new one, the side you were looking at was from here. I got this bolt off obviously very easily, and right now I am trying to reach the bolt that's all the way over here. I can't do that, but if I go through here with an extender, I can get to the bolt from the front. So that unfortunately means moving the engine mount. And if you're going to move the engine mount, I have to take out the bottom tray, and I also have to take out obviously the 4 bolts and jack up the engine so I can actually take it out. And that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so the old one is out. And the interesting thing is that the bolts that are used for the engine mount are exactly the same as the top bolt for this starter motor. So they're identical. But here's the hard part. So now, in order to get behind this, I need to somehow, I'm just going to have to tape this into the socket so that it doesn't fall off, because I can't hold it on there. So I'm going to have to do that, and then we'll put it back on. Okay, so there it is. It's back. That's the new one. It's back in. I rewired it. The engine mounts are back as well. The engine mount is back in. And the only question is whether or not that was what was broken and making the car not start. So I guess we'll find out in a few minutes. But in the meantime, I have to put the tray back in. I have to put the little breather for the alternator, which you didn't see me take out. And then I got to put the car down, and then it'll be the moment of truth. So now the battery is reconnected. Battery's in the trunk. Car is lowered onto the ground. I'm going to clean up here, and then I'll get cleaned up a little bit myself, and then we'll see whether this worked or not. Well, the place is cleaned up, and so now the moment of truth. All right, here we go. Battery is hooked up. All right. Here we go. Battery's hooked up. It's dark in here. Foot on the brake. And it starts. Oh, and I have to reset the clock now, which I'm not going to show you because that's boring. So there you have it. Just as I was singing the praises of the car just a few weeks ago, something went and broke on it. But the truth is, this is a Jaguar. It's an old Jaguar, and it's also an old Jaguar with high miles. So one of the things about this channel, we have a lot of young viewers, and I want to kind of show you my experience with these things so that you can have the proper expectations if you want to buy and drive every day a car similar to this. You can do it, but just make sure that your expectations are realistic, which is sometimes things go wrong on them. I'm going to do a separate video talking about all the things that I have fixed on this car. It's not as much as you think, and it's typical stuff that happens around 100,000 miles. But that's another video for another day. So if you like this kind of content, keep on watching and keep subscribing to this type of content. And I will have more videos on the other cars, and I might do some modifications to the Land Rover coming up too. So we'll see how that goes. Well, time to commute in my newly repaired car. Although I can't help think that I'm forgetting something. No matter.